मैं ईशी खोसला हूँ, एक क्लिनिकल न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट और आई एम ऑल्सो द फाउंडर ऑफ द सीलियाक सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडिया एंड होल फूड्स अ हेल्थ फूड कंपनी.
Why wheat is considered as a problem to the Indian people?
Well, actually, it's not only the Indian people, it's a global phenomena. Wheat in itself has a protein called gluten, and gluten is not completely digested by any human being. However, there is a percentage, maybe 1 or 2% people who actually cannot digest wheat at all, and in those people there is villous atrophy, which means that the absorption surfaces of the gut get damaged, and that leads to several diseases in themselves which can be life threatening, including cancer. So undiagnosed celiac, that is called celiac disease, and undiagnosed celiac disease is essentially a very, very big concern because it has to do with our nutrition status and our overall health. Now this percentage, 1 or 2% in India, we don't have very good data, but this is the global average. In some countries it's higher, even up to 7-8%. Is very hard to diagnose by health professionals, because in medical textbooks celiac has been described as a childhood diarrheal disease. However, celiac actually is now, the average age of diagnosis is about midlife, between 40 and 50 years of age, and diarrhea may be present only in 25-30% of people, and mostly we are finding extraintestinal symptoms. So you can have an adult who's thin or fat, or he could be completely normal looking with no symptoms, but maybe burdened with all kinds of symptoms which are not to do with the gut. So it's a difficult diagnosis, and the index of suspicion has to be very high. So this is one part of wheat. Then there is another part which is called wheat allergy, which has acute symptoms. You may sneeze, you may have a cramp, you may get rashes on eating wheat, and that's a completely different form of wheat intolerance mediated by the IgE antibodies. Then we have what we call non-celiac gluten intolerance. Now this is something which is very new, it's a new entity, and we are trying to bring the spotlight on this so that people who in the absence of celiac disease are suffering from symptoms which are just like celiac disease but are being written off because their markers are negative for celiac disease. This percentage of people can be very high. We don't have exact numbers, but believed to be about 6% of the total population. Also, it is believed that 1/3 people suffering from chronic diseases have gluten intolerance. What happens here is something a bit different in the gut. The gut really is what we call inflamed and a leaky gut, which allows the passage of undigested proteins and toxins to cross over the barrier into the bloodstream, creating antibodies, and these antibodies lead to the inflammation and sets the stage for several diseases. This is all mediated through the gut flora, and it is accompanied by dysbiosis. And so why has this happened is a critical question, because this is an ancient grain and has been consumed by people across the globe for thousands and thousands of years. Why is it bothering people in the absence of this entity called celiac disease? The questions are there, the answers are hypothetical, but certainly there has been a change in the kind of wheat that we have grown post the Green Revolution in India between the 1960s and 70s. This perhaps has been the biggest change, and not only the fact that there is a chromosomal change in the wheat, the wheat looks the same, but it is genetically different. No safety studies have been done in those times regarding the safety of this form of wheat, so we need to look at that as a possibility. The other is the fact that it has been bred to become pesticide resistant. It was meant to be pest resistant, however, it has become pesticide resistant and herbicide resistant. These weeds, weedicides, and these medicines which have been sprayed on the crop perhaps have been done indiscriminately, and the load of the pesticides and the effect on the gut flora has been so profound, so as to lead to intolerance and gradual formation of antibodies, and hence the diseases. So I think we do have some idea, but we don't have actual studies to support it. But certainly there is a case to believe this.